Hello everyone, how are you doing today? I am Constance and thank you so very much for joining me in a next episode of my English class. If this is your very first time here, thank you for joining me here and you're so very welcome. Glad to have you. All I ask that you do is like, subscribe, share, hit the notification bell and leave a sweet comment in the comment section below. And you can also check out the description box below for my merge or any additional information that I have there. Sometimes I have information about the lesson that I've given and also about whatever new is happening around the world or a good word from the Lord. All right. All right, so this episode is story time, right? We're going to have story time. We're done with our George and Venus story. We have done one short story since then, and now we're going to have a next story. This story is titled The Reincarnated Mind. The Reincarnated Mind. The Reincarnated Mind. I hope you enjoy the story. Please comment on it. Look for the literary devices in the story. All right, so let's get started. So the story is titled The Reincarnated Mind. Constantly I prayed since my eyes were at my knees, fervent prayers about everything and everyone, or to whomever I believe needed it. But nothing special seems to be happening in my personal life. No miracles, nothing divine. However, one Friday evening, out with friends at the Galaxy restaurant, my eyes behold the most beautiful man ever. Instantly, I could feel the strings of my heart twigging as though some form of protective mechanism had just removed itself from the circumferences of my heart. For a while, I just stood there staring at the handsome stranger until his eyes caught mine. I somehow could tell he was feeling the same thing that I was feeling inside about him. In some strange way, I told myself this must be my recompense, my compensation from God for my fervent prayers. Excusing himself from his group of friends, the gorgeous looking stranger came towards me with the most beautiful smile and with extended hands. And with an extended hand. My name is Rosa, he said, still smiling. I'm Hannah, I responded, grinning from ear to ear. 3 months later, I had ownership of his last name and wearing a very large piece of diamond rock on my wedding finger, representing the time of our nuptials. It was indeed a very happy moment for me and for Raz as well. We were soulmates for sure and felt connected by some higher power. However, my handsome Raz Hamilton was called away to military duty 6 months after we had been married. And since there weren't any children produced from the union as yet, I occupied my time with doing charity work, cooking and bringing food to the elderly and running here and there, running their errands as needed around the community. But there was an unscrupulous and very malicious being watching my every move, which I was clueless about until my husband confronted me. He confronted me about the various persons I had been spending my time with whenever he was away. Yes, I understood that In my culture, a woman shouldn't allow any man except her husband to kiss the back of her hands or even come close to her. But one of the seniors whom I visited daily had grabbed my hand out of great appreciation and kissed the back of my hand while expressing much gratitude for all the deeds that I had done for him. Knowing the rules of my culture, I tried pulling my hand away from him, but his grip was too firmly held. Therefore, I gave in and allowed his aged lips to press on the back surface of my hand, an act I would regret as long as I was still breathing. It was the very first time my husband had returned home and greeted me without a smile or flowers. Why did you allow him to do it? My husband asked, with his face cold as ice and jaw lines as hard as Plymouth Rock. At first, I stood there clueless, not remembering anything about the forbidden deed, until my husband made his inquiries much clearer to me. Why was Mr. Crasman's lips touching the back of your hands? He asked angrily. At first, I fumbled to find an answer, but the right words just wouldn't come forth until I heard my husband shouted, "You are dead!" Words I thought would never come from my husband's mouth ever. His words had my soul shaking, my hands trembling, my mind twirling, my knees buckling. Moments later, my husband was storming through the front door of our Stonewall house. Soon he began shouting, "A war is found! A war must die now!" His voice then began breaking, even though he tried being strong and resolute about his decision, because he knew he had to follow through with this custom or practice, or else his informer would make sure that it happened. Soon the entire community of Myrtle was standing in front of our house with sword in hand and shouting, "The mold must go! The mold must go! The mold must go!" I was now a mold. Now my husband had to do the unthinkable, the unimaginable. The defiler was his wife, and he needed to strike the first blow. And with his eyes closed, my handsome husband plunged his sword into my belly. The pain from the inserted wound had me slumped over, but not before long another sword was violently thrusting into my body, leaving gushing laceration while I scream out in agony, "Have mercy, forgive me! Have mercy, forgive me!" I then realized that my spirit man was still alive and began leaving my body slowly. And soon I started ascending higher and higher and higher into the skies. Meanwhile, watching the mob along with my husband savagely jabbing the sword into the shell, the carcass of my lifeless body repeatedly. For a moment, my elevated soul, spirit, conscious being watched my husband tirelessly stroke and plunge my lifeless body with his sword while saddened tears streamed from his eyes to his chin. Couple minutes later, he found the courage to achingly shout, "No more! No more! She's gone! She's gone!" Seconds later, I somehow found myself sweetly wrapped in the arms of God and ascending higher and higher and higher to where the stars vigorously dance. To where the stars vigorously dance. This is the end of this story, guys. I hope you have enjoyed this story. Thank you for watching. My name is Constance. Please remember to like, subscribe, share, and hit that notification bell so whenever I post the video, you, my lovelies, will be the first to have it. Until my next class, I hope you will join me then. Until then, bye-bye.